Hi, my name is Tony Roberts, Lead Property Manager for Remax Partners. Thought I'd take a few moments just to answer some of your key questions during this COVID-19 lockdown period, what you might expect as a landlord and also what you might expect as a tenant. So let's have a look at your questions. We've had a number of questions relating to new regulations in place from the start of the lockdown period. Now, these do include a cease on any tenancies ending during a lockdown period. This includes the level 4 lockdown and a 90-day period from the initial start of that lockdown. The government has also imposed a rent freeze. Now, this has been confused by an obligation to continue to pay rent. It doesn't forgive rents to be paid as a whole. It does stop a rent increase coming in to effect during the lockdown period and up to 6 months from that initial date. That does also apply to any rent increase that has been notified prior to the lockdown. Those simply cannot go ahead. Any rent increases now stop for a period of 6 months. Just going back to the terminations of tenancies, any tenancy agreement ending during a level 4 lockdown simply becomes a periodic agreement regardless of notice presented by either party or intention. That tenancy can still end if there is an agreement between the landlord and the tenant, although it would go against government health regulations to allow a tenant to relocate during that level 4 lockdown period. Regarding evictions and rent arrears, the government has now extended the expectation for rent arrears applications to the Tenancy Tribunal for eviction to 60 days. It's no longer lawful to present an arrears notice or a 14-day notice for action on any tenancy where rent arrears are less than 60 days. In relation to further evictions, there are conditions or clauses where evictions can go ahead under a level 4 lockdown period, including the 90-day period following the initial lockdown. Now, these do include where a tenant or landlord has threatened one or the other, or a substantial damage has been caused to the property. These are not the only clauses under which a tenancy may be ended and an eviction may proceed. These would need to be considered on a case-to-case basis with the tribunal. My advice to tenants during this lockdown period is simply to please communicate with your property manager, or in some cases directly with your landlord. It's key that we understand your position. We know that this is a very trying time for a lot of people. It's very difficult and very disconcerting. We would rather hear from you sooner rather than later to see what we can do to help resolve your situation and offer you that peace and security that you need in your home right now. So please simply talk to us. My advice to landlords during this COVID-19 level 4 lockdown is simply to keep those lines of communication open. Speak to your property manager or your tenants and be ready to hear what their position is like and see how you may be able to alleviate any fears that they have. It's best, obviously, to have your tenants remain happy in your property and continue to make their rent payments as best they can. Once this situation has resolved itself, it would be an opportune time then to resolve any arrears we might see or any tenancies that we need to fix or move on. At this time, it's really about ensuring that everybody's homes are secure, that everybody knows they have a place to remain safe.